So let's talk about pricing. This is endlessly fascinating. And I've got all kinds of crazy stories about pricing. But this is something that people struggle with so much. And I think people tend to price on the lower end of things. They're like, I'm just going to, I'm going to make this so ridiculously cheap that people will buy from me. And that doesn't work. What you want to do generally in this world is you want to be on the higher end of pricing in whatever market you're in. Now, markets vary incredibly widely. In the business that I'm in, which is teaching entrepreneurs how to start and grow their businesses, prices tend to be rather high because the value is crazy. Like if I can teach someone how to do a launch, a $10,000 launch that will grow into a $100,000 launch that might a few years from now grow into $1 million launch, what's the value of that training? And it's what we call a dimes to dollars argument. In other words, if they spend dimes, they get dollars back. So that allows for very high pricing. But maybe you're teaching tennis. And what's the value of having a better tennis game, of winning more matches? Well, it can be, the value can be incredibly huge, but it's harder to measure in terms of dollars. And so first thing is prices are market dependent. So if you're teaching about growing vegetables, or you're teaching about playing guitar, or having a better relationship, or getting more dates, or building a business, they're all very, very different. But what I think is within your market, you should be at the higher end. You shouldn't you don't want to be in a race for the bottom. If you're in a race for the bottom, there's all kinds of bad things that happens, and there's only one winner. At the end of the day, Walmart's the winner. Walmart beats everyone on prices. So they've won that game, and there's a lot of companies that have fallen by the wayside trying to compete, and maybe someday someone will figure out how to get their supply chain better than Walmart and be able to beat Walmart at their game, and then Walmart will cease to exist. You don't want to be in that game. The game we're in is finding those 1,000 true fans, of finding those people that really resonate with us. And so you want to tend towards the higher end of your market. Now, there's all kinds of psychology with pricing, and much of the psychology is your psychology and my psychology. In other words, being willing to step up and say, yes, I am delivering this value. Yes, this value is real, so this is what it costs. So many times people undervalue what they are delivering because maybe it's so easy for you. It's so easy for you to teach someone how to have a better tennis swing, or how to have a meditation practice, or how to have a better relationship, or how to grow your business. And for you, it's just like it's nothing special. It's just, I just do this and this. Why should I charge hundreds or thousands of dollars for this? But you have to think in terms of the value you're going to create for people. And you know what? When you charge higher prices, it will push you to be more innovative in building that value for people. And when you charge at the higher end, it allows you to create a better product. It gives you more margin to invest in creating a better product, and it gives you more margin to invest in your marketing. I've got this crazy dichotomy thing going in. I'm at the relatively high end. Really my stuff starts off at $2,000, and then it goes to $14,000, and then like $40,000. So I'm at the higher end of things. I might not be the absolute all-time most expensive, but I'm at the higher end of things. But I have this dichotomy of here's these things that I offer that are super high value, that change lives, but they're not inexpensive. They're an investment. But on the other hand, I also deliver an incredible amount for free. My friend Evan Pagan called this move the free line. In other words, the more free material, the more value build you can do without asking for the sale, the higher prices you can charge. And so I've got that dichotomy, and it's been working for me. And I think it works really, really well. This isn't saying you have to charge $2,000. A lot of times you might get around a bunch of entrepreneurs or getting a mastermind, and people get so pumped up about stuff, and all of a sudden they're like, you should be selling that pencil for $50,000. Well, no one's going to pay you $50,000 for a pencil. But so on one hand, it's when you get around entrepreneurs, it's real easy to get caught up in this charge more, charge more, charge more, charge more. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you want to be at the higher end of your market, and you want to you want to create the marketing that shows people the value that they're going to get if they invest in you. I mean, that's really what marketing is about. Marketing is about showing your prospect the real value, the transformation that they're going to have in their life. If you're trying to market based on pricing, like I said, it's a race to the bottom, but it's also lazy. It's a lazy marketing. You're just being lazy. You want your marketing to show the value of that transformation you're going to make for people. So, another thing that my pricing allows me to do is it allows me to put out a book and, $23. So here I am, $2,000 is sort of the entry point for my stuff, but now I think right now on Amazon it's like $23. Of course, there's a whole nother story for you, because I don't know if you know this, but when you put out a book, you don't set the price. Amazon sets the price. And the price they show for different people can actually be different. They're nonstop testing, so that's another whole thing. But having that $2,000 offer and that $14,000 offer and that $40,000 offer allows me to invest in creating a book where I can sell it. It doesn't matter to me whether it hits the bestseller list or not. What matters to me is getting this as many people's hands as possible and helping them, transforming their lives, even if it is only for $23, because in the end, I just want to help more people, and I know this will end up growing my business. A lot of the people that read this book will become more involved in my world and will end up stepping into those higher price points. So in a way, this is sort of like that having the high price allows me to do something like this at a lower price. So I'm Jeff Walker. Wherever you're watching this, scroll down, leave a comment for me, and let's go get them this week.